Hi everyone, in that video we'll see together how to internationalize a Nuxt application using intlayer. So the first thing you will probably wonder is why using intlayer instead of the Nuxt intn which use view intn under the hood. I would answer that the main point is the JSON management. If you already used Nuxt intn or view intn, you probably end up with a JSON file like that, one per local or like in that case, splitted by namespaces. In practice, maintaining that JSON will be time consuming. Let's say that I want to apply a change on one of my components. I will have to find the related JSON and then find the related keys, apply my change, and then navigate across each different translation to apply the same change again and again. If you have to generate that keys from ChatGPT, I will just end up by copy pasting again and again the content for each different changes. In company context, we will often use localization platforms to help us saving that time. But it can often represent extra costs that intlayer will solve. And another point, and probably the most important one, will be the loading of the different JSON into the different pages of my application. For instance, I don't want to load the about page content into my home page. And moreover, I don't want to load Spanish translation into a page in English. To answer that problem, at least partially, nuxt-intn offer a lazy load translation feature that avoid to fetch our Spanish content into pages in English. But we have natively no way to exclude our about content into our home page. And if you tell me, yeah, Nuxt offer a syntax like here to load all different namespaces that way. And yeah, it will work, but again, that different JSON will be merged into a single one. So that means when you will retrieve your content from the home page, you will also retrieve the content from your about page. There is no automatic purge of unused content, and that's where intlayer come up. By the way, a quick note about that, even if you plan to use nuxt-intn anyway, you can use intlayer on the top of your favorite internationalization solution to help you translate your JSON. So you will create a intlayer.config file, add that plugin, and it will synchronize for you your JSON to take benefits of test command to test missing translation and to autofill using AI your different translations. So if you're interested, I invite you to check out that documentation. So finally, intlayer arrived at that point, offering a per component approach, finally relatively close from what offer the per component translation features from nuxt-intn. But intlayer will offer a bit more flexibility, will optimize everything under the hood for you, optimize the way that your component will load that content to avoid to load unused content. It will purge automatically unused content, and will offer a bunch of additional features on the top of that, as CLI to test missing translation, fill them using AI, or a VS Code extension, or a visual editor to edit your content visually. So I suggest to get started by creating a new Nuxt application. So I will create that test Nuxt application, and we will keep everything by default to keep that example as simple as we can. Perfect, I can now move on that project, and I will install 3 more dependencies: intlayer to declare our content, view intlayer to interpret our intlayer dictionaries inside view component, and nuxt-intlayer will be the plugin that will manage all the rest under the hood, the bundling optimization, building our dictionaries when our application start, etc. Perfect. So the first thing I will have to do will be to go on our nuxt.config.ts, and I will add a new module named nuxt-intlayer. Just after that, I will create a intlayer.config.ts, and inside that file, I will insert the different locale I will want to use in my application. Once it's done, I will simply go on my app.view and remove everything to replace it by a next page and move that component at the root of my application. I will then add a new folder named pages and add an index file, index.view, and inside we will insert a simple template including a h1 saying hello world. Okay, let's see at that stage what will happen when I will start my dev server. We will see that intlayer will start in parallel, checking for content declaration. We do not have for now. We'll see how to create one a bit later. And if I start my application, I will see my hello world here. Intlayer also created in parallel a .intlayer folder that I will inure from my git inure simply because it will be auto-generated. Okay, so the next thing to do will be to make our hello world multilingual. For that, I will create a new content file. I will name it index.content.ts, and inside I will declare an object. I will give him a key, let's say home page, and I will give some content. In that case, that will be hello world. That object will be of type dictionary, and I will export by default that content. And now the second thing to do will be to import that content into our page. So for that, I will add a script like that. Import my the use intlayer composable from view intlayer, and I will simply retrieve my contents using the use intlayer composable, and by giving him the key that I gave a bit earlier, so that was home page. And I will simply replace here my hello world by that content. Okay. And if I check my application, I still have my hello world displayed. So now I will have to make my content multilingual. So I will simply replace that, call the T function from intlayer, and inside I will declare my content in English, my content in French, saying bonjour le monde, and the last one in Spanish, hola mundo. And if I have a look into my page, no change visible, but I will be able to provide a second argument, let's say Spanish, and I will retrieve my content here in Spanish or same in French. And to make that example more concrete, I will simply add a new page like that and insert a new layout. For that, I will wrap my application by nuxt layout, add a new folder named layouts, and inside I will add a file name default.view. And inside that layout, I will simply insert two links that will allow to navigate from one page to the other one. And now I will want to add a local switcher, so I will create a new folder named components and create a new local switcher.view. And inside, I will insert that code. So basically, we will use that nuxt link to redirect to our different locale. I will import that component into my layout. So inside my header, I will add my local switcher. And now if I check the result, I will be able to switch the locale. Just a quick note, I see often people using select or buttons to switch their different locales. It's always better to use links for the discoverability of your different other page on Google. At that stage, you will notice that if I switch the locale, the URL is also changing. You will also have to know that your internal links inside your application will also have to match your current locale. In that case, in French, the page should not be at /about. It should be at /fr/about. So for that, I will also create a new component named link. And inside my layout, I will simply import that link and replace my next link by link. Okay, if I go back on my application, we are now switching to /fr and /fr/about, and same in Spanish. Okay, that's nice. So the next thing that I will want to do will be to internationalize my page metadata. Just here, I do not have any for now. So I will go inside my index page, and I will use the useHead composable, and I will add my title that way. I will retrieve my content here using content.raw. And now we are in English. If I switch to French, my title is also changing. Note that I would have been able to do the same thing, so using the get intlayer function imported from intlayer. So I will provide the same key, it works the same way. So home page, and that content2, I will be able to replace my content.row by content2. And I will here provide a second prop to import the content here in English or in French. Super, we are good. So what I will do right now will be to test missing translation. In that case, on my content file, I just removed one translation and I will be able to run that command, intlayer test. It will go over all our content declaration and list if there is missing translations. So the next step, what I will do right now is to add an AI configuration on my intlayer.config.ts. I can pick the provider I want. I will say OpenAI, and I will select one model, let's say GPT 3.5 Turbo. I can add an application context to give more information to make my translation more accurate. And I will add an API key that I will get from my OpenAI dashboard. So just here, I can add that as an environment variable. It will also be load. So yeah, I can now run the fill command and it will do the same. It will go over my content declaration, check if there is missing translation. In that case, generate my Spanish translation. And if I go back inside my content declaration file, we have back or missing translation, as well as some metadata. The title will be used to find more easily my dictionary on the visual editor. And we will have the description that also provide more context, more information for your translations. Super. So right now we'll see how to set up the intlayer visual editor. So for that, I will install the intlayer editor package as dev dependency. It will install everything, and I will go in parallel on my intlayer.config.ts, and I will add a new parameter here, editor, and I will give an application URL. In that case, that will be the local hosts port 3000. And we will now start our editor using the command npx intlayer editor start, and I will give a flag saying, okay, you will start my next application in parallel. Okay, it's now starting. So my editor is running on the port 8000 and watching my application at the port 3000. Perfect. And right now, we do not see any change, right? That's because there is two ways to import our content in our components. In that case, I imported it as a row, as a string. So I will simply change it and import it as a component. And right now, my editor is able to select, to pick my content, and I will be able to change my translation here in English by tests. I will save it, download the change, and if I go back on my intlayer, my content file, the value here got changed by test. Okay, so to finish, I want to expose a few more options. The first one will be the build configuration. We can force the optimization to true or to false, but by default, that value is to undefined because intlayer will optimize the bundling, the way that your component will retrieve their related content only in production to avoid extra processing in development. But you also have another option, which is the import mode. By default, intlayer imports statically your content inside the components. That means you will also import the content in French and English inside a Spanish page. So in the case of a Nuxt application, I will recommend to use the dynamic mode just here. Under the hood, it will transform all static import into dynamic ones. And the last option that I want to expose will be the routing option. We also have different mode. By default, we are not prefixing the English route, but we can prefix it using the prefix all option. By the way, you should know regarding the routing that on a Nuxt application using the nuxt-intlayer module, intlayer will use the intlayer proxy, a Vite plugin that will automatically redirect the user to his favorite locale. For instance, if the user comes from France and visits your web page for the first time, it will be automatically redirected to the French page. And same if he just select one locale, let's say Spanish, the locale will be saved as a cookie that customizable for GDPR reason or other, but the locale will be saved, and the next time it will come back on a site, it will load automatically the website in Spanish. So yeah, that's it. I hope that video was useful. If it's the case, just go on GitHub and drop a star on a project. Yeah, I wish you all the best in your multilingual project.